Welcome back to our channel. Today we unravel the fascinating life of Maria Felix, a woman whose name has become synonymous with beauty, power, and intrigue. Known as La Doña and Maria Bonita, Felix was more than just a movie star. She was an icon who redefined what it meant to be a leading lady in cinema. Her life was a riveting drama, filled with stunning triumphs, fiery scandals, and moments of profound heartbreak. From her humble beginnings in Mexico to her meteoric rise as a symbol of Latin American cinema, and from her tumultuous relationships to her enduring legacy, Maria Felix's story is one that captivates the imagination. Stay with us as we dive deep into the secrets, scandals, and triumphs of the woman who was cinema's biggest enigma. Maria Felix's story begins in the small town of Alamos, Mexico, on April 8, 1914. From the outset, her life was anything but ordinary. Born into a bustling household with 15 siblings, Maria grew up in an environment that was both lively and at times overwhelming. Yet amidst the chaos, she found an anchor in her brother, Pablo. Their bond was deeply affectionate, so much so that it raised eyebrows even within their own family. Her mother, concerned by their closeness, began to suspect their relationship might cross social and moral boundaries, a notion that would become a family scandal. Fearing the potential fallout, her parents made a heartbreaking decision to send Pablo away to military college in 1929. For young Maria, this was more than just the loss of a brother. It was the shattering of her closest companionship. The separation left an indelible mark on her heart, sparking a fierce independence that would define her character in the years to come. Even as she grappled with emotional turmoil, Maria began to blossom into a striking young woman. However, she wasn't your typical beauty. While other girls embraced traditional femininity, Maria thrived as a tomboy, spending her days riding horses with fearless abandon. Yet, despite her rough and tumble demeanor, her natural allure could not be overlooked. By her teenage years, Maria had become a head-turner, captivating all who crossed her path. This undeniable charisma culminated in her winning a Beauty Queen title at the University of Guadalajara. It was a moment that marked her emergence as someone destined for greatness. But behind the glittering crown lay a storm of inner conflict. Her family's decision to separate her from Pablo had left her deeply resentful, fueling a burning desire to escape the confines of her past and carve out a future on her own terms. Maria's childhood was a paradox, a mix of familial bonds that were both her greatest strength and her deepest source of pain. This complex foundation shaped her into the tenacious, unapologetic woman who would go on to captivate the world. Her early years were not just the prelude to her legendary career. They were the crucible in which Maria Felix, the icon, was forged. At just 17 years old, Maria Felix was already yearning for freedom. Living under her family's watchful eye, she craved independence and a chance to step into a world of her own making. That opportunity seemed to arrive in the form of Enrique Alvarez, a suave cosmetic salesman who charmed Maria with promises of a life far removed from her turbulent home. Fueled by a mix of youthful passion and a desire to escape, Maria married Alvarez in 1931. What seemed like a dream, however, quickly unraveled into a harsh reality. The early days of their union exposed a different side of Alvarez. His charm gave way to obsessive jealousy and controlling behavior. Maria, once vibrant and independent, found herself confined to the walls of their home, cut off from the world. Alvarez's insecurities ran so deep that even mundane activities, like going to the cinema, were riddled with restrictions. He would time their entry and exit to avoid other men catching a glimpse of his beautiful wife. In 1935, Maria gave birth to her son, Enrique, a bright spot in an otherwise dark chapter of her life. The joy of motherhood, however, could not mend the cracks in her marriage. Alvarez's jealousy masked a darker truth. He had been unfaithful throughout their relationship. Maria, trapped in a loveless and suffocating marriage, eventually discovered his betrayals. This revelation, while painful, also marked the beginning of her determination to reclaim her life. During this time, Maria found an unexpected source of comfort in a radio program hosted by songwriter Agustin Lara. The warmth of his voice and the romance of his music became a solace for her. She often joked with her sisters that one day she would marry him, a playful remark that hinted at her longing for a connection grounded in admiration and respect. By 1937, Maria had reached her breaking point. She divorced Alvarez and returned to her family, hoping to rebuild her life. However, her homecoming was anything but peaceful. In her conservative Catholic hometown, the label of a divorced woman came with harsh judgment and relentless gossip. The whispers of scandal grew unbearable, prompting Maria to make a bold decision. She packed her bags and set her sights on Mexico City. This move marked a turning point in Maria's life. It was not merely a physical relocation, but a symbolic break from the past. Her journey to Mexico City was the first step toward independence, resilience, and the extraordinary destiny that awaited her. The struggles of her early relationships and the heartbreak of her first marriage became the foundation of the unapologetically strong woman who would later dominate Latin American cinema and capture the world's imagination. When Maria Felix arrived in Mexico City, her life was at a crossroads. Seeking a fresh start, she took a job as a receptionist at a plastic surgeon's clinic. However, this wasn't an ordinary position. Maria's striking beauty caught the eye of her employer, who used her as a living advertisement to attract clients. The glamorous facade of this new chapter hid an undercurrent of personal turmoil. Maria's newfound independence enraged her ex-husband, Enrique Alvarez, who had never accepted the end of their marriage. Unable to tolerate the idea of Maria moving forward without him, he devised a cruel plan. In a shocking act of revenge, Alvarez kidnapped their son Enrique and took him to live with his grandmother in Guadalajara. Maria, powerless in the face of this betrayal, was left heartbroken but determined to one day reclaim her child. Amid this chaos, destiny intervened in 1940, when Maria crossed paths with two men who would change her life forever: the renowned songwriter Agustin Lara and filmmaker Fernando Palacio. Lara, whose voice had comforted Maria during her darkest days, re-entered her life, this time in person. But it was Palacio who saw something extraordinary in Maria and recognized her potential to be more than just a beautiful face. Palacio wasted no time nurturing Maria's talent. He introduced her to key players in the film industry and encouraged her to take lessons in acting, diction, and dance. Maria, ever the quick learner, threw herself into this new world with determination. Her hard work paid off when she secured her first film role, though the experience was far from smooth. Maria's debut was clouded by tension with her co-star Jorge Negrete, a popular actor who resented her presence. Negrete had campaigned for his girlfriend to play the leading role and made no secret of his displeasure when Maria was cast instead. The on-set hostility was relentless, with Negrete openly undermining Maria at every opportunity. Their clashes were the talk of the crew, and Maria quickly earned a reputation as a tough, uncompromising diva, a label that would follow her throughout her career. While Maria's professional life began to take off, her personal relationships suffered. Her family, especially her father, struggled to accept her growing fame and defiance of traditional expectations. When Maria refused to give up her acting career, her father made the heartbreaking decision to disown her entirely. For Maria, This rejection was painful, but also liberating, marking the moment she fully embraced her independence and the path she had chosen. The early days of Maria Felix's career were a whirlwind of ambition, scandal, and resilience. Despite the challenges, she was determined to rise above the chaos and prove herself, not just as a star, but as a force to be reckoned with. These tumultuous beginnings set the stage for her to become one of the most iconic figures in Latin American cinema, a woman whose life on and off the screen would forever captivate the world. Maria Felix's ascent to stardom reached a turning point with her unforgettable role in Dona Barbara. Adapted from a best-selling revenge novel, the film was more than just a cinematic success, it was a cultural phenomenon. Maria's portrayal of a fiercely vengeful and complex heroine electrified audiences who saw in her not just a character but a powerful embodiment of female strength and independence. The performance was magnetic, earning her critical acclaim and a moniker that would define her legacy, La Doña. This role was a perfect match for Maria's fiery persona, both on and off the screen. Dona Barbara wasn't merely a film, it was a statement, a bold declaration of Maria's ability to dominate not just her roles, but also the cultural imagination of an entire generation. Audiences adored her portrayal of the titular character, a woman driven by pain and retribution, and it cemented Maria's reputation as a commanding figure who defied conventions with unapologetic confidence. Maria Felix and Dolores del Rio, two of Mexico's most celebrated stars, were often mentioned in the same breath, but their personas couldn't have been more distinct. Del Rio embodied a timeless elegance and quiet grace, enchanting audiences with her understated charm. In contrast, Felix commanded attention with her fiery presence, exuding boldness and defiance in every role she played. Where Del Rio represented classic beauty, Felix redefined it with her unapologetic strength. Some called Maria the successor to Del Rio, a notion Felix famously dismissed, asserting, "I am not a shadow. I cast my own light." This refusal to conform to comparisons was emblematic of Maria's unwavering belief in her singularity, a trait that solidified her status as a legend. Maria Felix's cinematic influence was not confined to Latin America. She made a bold foray into European cinema that further solidified her international stardom. Her European debut came with the Spanish film Mare Nostrum, 1948, directed by Rafael Gil. This collaboration with Gil proved successful, leading Maria to work with him on two more films in 1950, Una Mujer Cualquiera and La Noche del Sábado. En 1951, María se aventuró en producciones franco-españolas con La Couronne Noire, una película basada en una historia de Jean Cocteau y dirigida por Luis Saslavsky. That same year, she debuted in Italian cinema with Incantesimo Tragico and starred in Messalina, directed by Carmine Galloni. However, while filming Messalina, Maria faced an emotional blow when her father passed away from a heart attack in Navojoa, an event that left her devastated but determined to persevere. In 1952, Maria traveled to Argentina to film La Pasión Desnuda with Argentine director Luis César Amadori. Later that year, she returned to Mexico, marking the end of her working relationship with producer Cesario González. Back home, she starred in Camellia, which was filmed in her native land, and El Rapto, her final film alongside her husband, Jorge Negrete. Their marriage, once a union of two cinematic powerhouses, came to a tragic end when Negrete passed away on December 5, 1953. Stricken by grief but ever resilient, Maria returned to Europe in 1954. In France, she starred in La Belle Otero and Les Héros sont fatigués, 1955, alongside the legendary Yves Montand. However, one of the most significant films of her European career was French Cancan, 1954, directed by Jean Renoir and featuring French acting icon Jean Gabin. Maria's elegance and charisma were a perfect match for Renoir's vision, further cementing her status as a global star. Maria's final European project was the Spanish film Faustina, after which she returned to Latin America, bringing her European cinematic chapter to a close. This period of her career not only expanded her artistic repertoire, but also demonstrated her ability to captivate audiences across cultures, proving that Maria Felix was a star without borders. As her star rose, Maria captivated admirers from all corners of the globe, earning international recognition. Among her most audacious admirers was none other than King Farouk of Egypt, who was so smitten with her that he reportedly offered her one of his most treasured possessions, an ancient crown worn by Queen Nefertiti, on the condition that she spend a single night with him. Maria, ever proud and self-assured, refused the proposal, a decision that only added to her mystique and solidified her reputation as a woman who couldn't be bought. Despite the lure of international stardom, Maria made a choice that set her apart from many of her contemporaries. While Hollywood beckoned with its glamour and promises of greater fame, she turned it down, opting instead to remain true to her roots. She valued her cultural identity and understood the significance of representing Mexico on her own terms. Maria's decision was a statement of pride and independence, emphasizing her belief that she didn't need Hollywood to validate her artistry or magnify her legacy. She embraced her heritage, her individuality, and her own terms of success. In doing so, she didn't just become a star, she became a legend. Maria Felix was often described as the Greta Garbo of Latin America, a comparison that reflected her magnetic mystique and commanding presence on screen. Like Garbo, Felix possessed an almost otherworldly beauty that captivated audiences without effort. Her ability to convey strength, elegance, and mystery in every role left a lasting impression, much like Garbo's legendary performances in Hollywood. However, while both women were celebrated for their enigmatic personas, Maria's fiery spirit and unapologetic independence set her apart. She wasn't just an icon, she was a force of nature, carving her own path in a way that made comparisons feel inadequate. Felix herself rejected such parallels, famously declaring, "I am not the next someone, I am the first Maria Felix." Maria Felix's personal life was nothing short of a tempest, a whirlwind of passion, betrayal, heartbreak, and resilience that rivaled the most dramatic storylines of her films. Her relationships were as iconic as her career, filled with high-profile romances, scandals, and the kind of fiery intensity that made her a true femme fatale. In 1945, Maria married Agustin Lara, the famed songwriter whose music had once been her solace during her first marriage. Their union seemed like a fairy tale at first. Lara showered her with gifts and immortalized her beauty in the song Maria Bonita, which became a timeless classic. But behind the romantic veneer lay a storm of jealousy and possessiveness. Lara, like many men in Maria's life, struggled with her beauty and independence, which often invited admiration from others. His insecurities eventually boiled over into violent outbursts, shattering their marriage. By 1947, Maria had walked away, determined to preserve her dignity and freedom. Maria's next great romance rekindled an old flame, Jorge Negrete, her former co-star and on-set rival. Their tumultuous history seemed to take a romantic turn when the two reunited and tied the knot in 1953. The wedding was a spectacle, celebrated as the wedding of the century, broadcast live across Latin America and symbolizing Maria's reign as the queen of Mexican cinema. Yet their happiness was tragically short-lived. Negrete, who had been battling cirrhosis of the liver, passed away less than a year after their marriage, leaving Maria widowed and heartbroken. As Maria's love life played out in the public eye, rumors swirled about a secret marriage to musician Raul Prado in 1943. Maria consistently denied these claims, but whispers of the alleged union refused to fade. According to some accounts, the marriage lasted only a few months before ending in a dramatic fallout. Whether truth or myth, the tale added another layer of intrigue to her already storied life. In 1956, Maria seemed to find a semblance of stability with Alexander Berger, a successful French banker. Their marriage lasted 18 years, a testament to their shared affection and resilience. Yet even this relationship was touched by tragedy. While filming a movie, Maria suffered a devastating miscarriage, dashing her hopes of giving her son Enrique a sibling. The loss deeply affected both her and Berger, but they endured together until 1974, when Berger succumbed to lung cancer. Through it all, Maria's love life reflected the same qualities that defined her on-screen persona: fierce passion, unrelenting strength, and an unyielding sense of independence. Each relationship, whether it ended in heartbreak or scandal, added another layer to the legend of La Doña. Maria Felix lived unapologetically, loving and losing on her own terms, and leaving behind a legacy as captivating as it was complex. In her later years, Maria Felix remained as commanding and indomitable as ever, a true embodiment of strength, elegance, and resilience. Yet even icons like Maria are not immune to life's most crushing blows. The year 1996 brought a devastating tragedy that shook the very foundation of her world: the sudden death of her only son, Enrique. At the age of 62, Enrique suffered a fatal heart attack, leaving Maria utterly heartbroken. Enrique had been more than just her son. He was her confidant, her anchor, and one of the few constants in her tumultuous life. Their bond was forged through the trials of Maria's early struggles, her rise to fame, and the personal challenges she faced as a single mother. For decades, he had stood by her, offering unconditional love and support amidst the chaos of her public and private lives. Losing him wasn't just the loss of family, it was the loss of a piece of her soul. Despite her personal losses, Maria's influence and fame remained undiminished. She had become more than just a film star. She was a cultural icon, celebrated for her beauty, strength, and the unapologetic way she lived her life. Maria Felix's death on April 8, 2002, was as dramatic and enigmatic as the life she had lived. Passing away on her 88th birthday, the timing itself seemed almost poetic, a fitting farewell for a woman who had commanded the world's attention for decades. Her death was the closing act of an extraordinary life, but true to her nature, even in death, Maria stirred headlines and controversy that captivated fans and media alike. News of her passing sent shockwaves through Latin America and beyond. Fans flocked to pay tribute to La Doña, leaving flowers, letters, and heartfelt messages at her family tomb in Mexico City. Social media, television networks, and newspapers were flooded with retrospectives celebrating her iconic roles, her beauty, and her unparalleled influence on Mexican cinema. Yet, amid the mourning, an unexpected twist turned grief into uproar: the revelation of Maria's will. Maria's decision to leave her vast fortune to her driver and personal assistant, Luis Martinez de Anda, stunned the public and infuriated her surviving family members. The media immediately seized on the drama, spinning stories that range from admiration for Maria's loyalty to accusations of betrayal and deceit. Her family, blindsided by the exclusion, wasted no time voicing their outrage. accusing Deanda of manipulating Maria in her later years to gain control of her wealth. The story became a media spectacle, with the narrative of the glamorous, untouchable Maria Felix now intertwined with a bitter legal battle. Family members portrayed themselves as the rightful heirs, claiming they had been unjustly robbed of their legacy. Public opinion was divided. Some fans sympathized with the family, viewing the will as a potential act of coercion. Others defended Maria's autonomy, arguing that her decision reflected her ability to live and die on her own terms. As the accusations intensified, the family demanded an investigation into Maria's death, alleging foul play. In a sensational turn of events, the court ordered Maria's body to be exhumed. This dramatic development dominated headlines, with media outlets speculating wildly about possible criminal activity. Some painted Luis Martinez de Anda as a cunning opportunist, while others described him as a devoted companion who had earned Maria's trust through unwavering loyalty. When the investigation concluded, the findings were both a relief and a confirmation of Maria's enduring mystique. The court determined that Maria had died of natural causes, silencing allegations of foul play. Yet, the controversy surrounding her will only deepen her legend. For her fans, this saga was another example of Maria's refusal to conform, even in death. For her detractors, it was evidence of the turbulence that had marked her entire life. The scandal cemented Maria Felix's reputation as a figure larger than life, a woman whose every move, even her final one, defied expectations and sparked conversation. Her decision to leave her estate to Deanda, whether viewed as an act of gratitude or a final act of defiance, encapsulated her complex character. Fiercely independent, unapologetically bold, and forever unforgettable. Fans and the media alike continue to dissect the details of Maria's life and death, proving that her legacy is as alive today as it was during her reign as La Doña. Her passing, marked by drama, emotion, and intrigue, became yet another chapter in the story of a woman who refused to live an ordinary life and ensured her legacy would be just as extraordinary. Maria Felix's later years reflected the same dichotomy that defined her entire life. Immense triumphs interwoven with profound tragedies. Her story continues to captivate audiences, not only because of her achievements on screen, but also because of her unyielding spirit and the larger-than-life aura that surrounded her. Maria lived and left on her own terms, ensuring that her legacy would remain as unforgettable as the woman herself. Maria Felix was a woman of many layers, and even in her final years, her life continued to reveal new complexities. One of the best-kept secrets of her lifetime was her bisexuality, a facet of her identity that remained largely hidden from the public during an era when such revelations could have jeopardized her career. Among the most notable chapters of this secretive side of Maria's life was her passionate and tumultuous affair with Parisian cabaret owner Freddie, known for her high-profile relationships with glamorous women like Marlene Dietrich, was a fitting match for Maria's fiery and magnetic personality. Their relationship was as intense as it was volatile, marked by a chemistry that could ignite passion one moment and conflict the next. For nearly half a decade, Maria and Freddie were embroiled in an on-again, off-again affair that left a trail of drama in its wake. The eventual breakup between the two was nothing short of explosive, and Maria's response was emblematic of her dramatic flair and unrelenting resolve. Furious and feeling betrayed, Maria took Freddie to court, accusing her former lover of stealing jewelry, a move that shocked the public and captured headlines. But Maria wasn't done. She took pettiness to an art form when she commissioned the celebrated artist Leonor Fini, who had painted a portrait of the couple as a pair of intertwined flowers, to alter the artwork. In a move dripping with both narcissism and brilliance, Maria had Freddie's face painted over with her own, transforming the piece into a celebration of her singular self. This incident was more than just a scandal. It was a symbolic act that encapsulated Maria Felix's unapologetic essence. She lived her life with no regrets, refusing to bow to societal expectations or the judgment of others. Even in her most personal battles, Maria displayed the same determination and theatricality that defined her career and cemented her legendary status. Maria Felix's secrets and final scandals serve as a reminder that she was above all else a woman who lived on her own terms. Her unapologetic defiance of convention, both in her personal life and on screen, remains a testament to her indomitable spirit and the enduring allure of La Doña. And that's the incredible story of Maria Felix, an actress, icon, and legend who continues to mesmerize the world long after her final bow. Her life was a tapestry of ambition, love, heartbreak, and resilience, woven with the kind of drama that could rival any of her films. From her unforgettable performances to her unapologetic personality, Felix's legacy is one of strength and defiance. If you enjoyed exploring the life of this remarkable woman, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories about the hidden legends of cinema. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.